Am I throwing you off?
Nope.
Didn't think so.
How you doing, young lady? The feeling that you're giving really drives me crazy.
My first memory of music is hiding behind the couch at my parents' house while my mother had her church choir practice. It was a small choral group of 4 women, and they rehearsed every Saturday afternoon in my mother's living room, and I would kind of hide behind the couch and listen. And I would perform with my mother when I was younger in Portuguese, actually. And then after that, I started writing songs at a really early age and performing in school choir groups and playing instruments. I played like the ukulele, I played the trombone, all sorts of odd instruments, different styles of music, jazz music, concert band, marching band. And as I grew older, I would always buy the latest little keyboard or recording machine to kind of try out tracks and try to get my music going. When I was young, I spoke Portuguese and English and sang in both languages, which has evolved into now where I also speak Spanish, and I have 2 Spanish songs on my new album, Loose. And singing and speaking in Latin and a Latin language, very close to my heart, and just comes naturally. The emotion comes naturally. My international sort of heritage just kind of allowed me to travel like around the world and feel very at home in different countries and different continents. I just feel like a citizen of the world. Hip-hop is a big influence. It's just very American. I grew up on the West Coast, got a lot of Seattle radio stations and TV programs when I was growing up. So I always loved hip-hop. I always loved rap music and R&B as well. So it's all there on this new album. It's almost like a return to like the things I listened to as a teenager. And that's exciting for me because it's almost just like a sense of nostalgia. And the album has a really youthful vibe to it. And this energy is just really in the moment.
All I know is everything is not as it's so. But the more I grow, the less I know.
I've always admired artists and performers who spread really good energy, like artists like Bob Marley, or an Aretha Franklin, it's just like there's like a vibe there that people got, inspired by. And I always liked that element of music making, especially always writing my own songs from a young age. When you have your own voice, it's like one and the same, singing and having your own lyrics.
Then I see you standing there, wanting more from me, and all I can do is try.
Around the age of 16 was my first time that I was in the recording studio, and I was doing backup vocals for a local hip-hop group, an independent group, and right away when I was in that studio and I put those headphones on and heard my voice coming back at me, it was like, wow, this is it, And then I had my own group. It was kind of like a trip-hop type of group, and we recorded songs, and then I bought a guitar and I developed my songwriting more and wanted to become an autonomous, songwriter. And I sang at a talent show in Toronto called the Honey Jam, and it was an all-female talent show, mostly R&B and hip-hop singers. And that's where I met my manager and half of Track and Field, who went on to produce my first record. So we did a demo tape together, and the rest is history.
I looked at your face, I saw that all my love had died, and I saw that we had forgotten to take the time.
I've been playing instruments and singing and performing since I was 4 years old, but it was always a very musical journey for me. I was into rehearsing, sitting in my room with my trombone for 10 hours and making sure I got every note right and clocking that time, like, definitely in my blood. My grandfather was a marching band composer. My grandfather, who passed in Portugal, and so he would compose marching band scores for 30 or 40 piece marching band. So that's kind of where my musical blood comes from.
And now our love's flooding out the window. Our love's flooding out the back door. Our love's flooding up in the sky. And heaven, where it began, it's back in God's hands.
My favorite part about being a singer-songwriter is the ability to share emotion with people. The thought occurred to me when I was recording Loose, my new album, that music is very intimate. There's this connection and this intimacy you get, which I think is equal to when you're listening to like your very favorite song. And that's a special thing. And also those magical moments when you're recording in the studio and you write something so special and you feel this adrenaline in your body and a tear comes to your eye. It's like you couldn't pay for that,
You're beautiful, that's for sure. You'll never, ever fade.
I'm Like a Bird came out in Canada, and it was literally overnight success. All of a sudden, I was in all the newspapers. Everybody knew my song, everybody knew my face from the video. And I was living like in this loft apartment downtown, and I almost kind of couldn't leave the house, That was really, really awkward. And I always tell new artists starting out, like, don't go on the internet and look at your fan sites, and don't look at it in the beginning, because you don't really know how to handle it, and you get really self-conscious about it. The other crazy thing was I got all these big gigs. Like all of a sudden it was like, hey, U2 wants you to open for them. PJ Harvey got sick. Can you cover these 4 dates? And this is like the U2 Elevation Tour. And I'm going, wow. And so you just get up there, you got to do it. Like my first photo shoot, my first interview was with Vanity Fair, one of my first TV performances was Jay Leno, Saturday Night Live. So it was big stuff. And I didn't really grow up in the performing realm as far as, I'd use a reference of like a Mickey Mouse Club or like, tap dancing. Like I just didn't come from showbiz. It was more just a musical background. So to be thrown in front of all those cameras all of a sudden, you learn quickly. And now it's so relieving to be on my 3rd album because I know the ropes now and I have a lot more confidence as a performer. And I've learned some of those things that I didn't know before.
I'm like a bird on the highway. I don't know where my soul is. I don't know where my home is.
One of my first performances was at Lilith Fair, actually, the Sarah McLachlan tour of Lilith Fair. And I was on like the 3rd stage. There was about 10 people watching me, but I was so happy to be there. It was really fun.
Everybody look at me. I walk in the door, you start screaming. Come on, everybody, what you here for? Move your body around, it's so simple.
I used to kind of do sort of hip-hop tracks in my spare time. Like I would collaborate with artists like Missy Elliott or Jurassic 5 or The Roots. And it was always really fun, but I never really did it on my own albums. And I kind of went, that's an idea, since it just rolls off my shoulders, since I grew up listening to all these acts. I just decided to kind of touch on that a little bit more on my album. And I love the results. It's an album I listen to in my car. Just kind of driving around, I get really into it and I get lost. I could live in the studio. I could just record a bunch of albums and forget to kind of go perform them live. Although I also love the rush of being on stage, because right away you're getting that feedback and you get to see your fans who have lived and breathed this music in their homes and living rooms and cars, and it's become a part of their perspiration, And that's so inspiring to see those words sung back at you and to share that. It's like holding hands, with many, many people all at the same time.
I've been around the world, I ain't never seen nothing like
like this, like this.